Welcome to a 1v1 on Koludny Ferma Winter. This game is Uzmanoy versus Antilles950. Soviets in the east versus Post-Terror in the west. We got Guard Motor Shock Rifle and Soviet Combined Arms Army. I was never going to get that. First Lightning War, Assault Support, and Close Air Support. So pretty standard stuff from the Soviets. Might get to see the Guard PTRS buff a little bit this game. And Antilles also has a pretty standard loadout, Assault Support and Lightning War for the Tiger. And Close Air Support, of course, has been very popular lately. 3 conscript opening to what looks like a 3 grenadier opening, possibly.
Fresh conscripts have arrived.
I'm gonna see some wire going down here from the Pioneers. In a weird spot, I guess. Makes sense though. Wire going down there. I think infantry might still be able to squeeze through that though. I don't know, I can't quite tell. More barbed wire going down on various cover. Actually leaves the capture circle for this particular barbed wire, so he seems to think cover denial is more important than capturing this victory point for now. He's got grenadiers here taking up a position by the munitions, and there it is, 3 grenadiers. 3rd grenadier making its way onto the battlefield now. Combat engineers are going to take control of the south, and we actually have a kind of a split between the north and the south by the Soviet player. Sending a couple squads for the north fuel, but sending his combat engineers for the south, so he's actually going to get really strong early fuel control since the Oster player focusing on the munitions rather than the fuel here in the early game. With 3 squads of conscripts available to engage here in the north, he should be in a pretty strong position. 2 grenadiers working on either the center or south. Conscripts should have no problem overwhelming everything that's available up here right now.
Squad is ready. Our opponents are seizing a sector. We can't take this! They're chewing us up! Grenadiers reporting objective capture.
Conscripts moving up into short range on these grenadiers, trying to get across the road into cover. I think they should probably win this engagement at this range. Maybe. Yeah, looks like they probably will. Meanwhile, conscripts in short range here at this house, they will not benefit from their green cover, so I think they're probably going to lose this engagement. Especially with more grenadiers moving up to support from over here. Yeah, they're definitely getting taken down quick. This engagement looks like it's going in favor of the conscripts. Health still pretty even. This engagement up here sees the Pios retreating. Conscripts will be able to take control of the strategic point right there. Those conscripts forced to retreat. You should never really assault this building on that green cover wall unless you have a flamethrower, because that cover wall will not provide you any cover. Doesn't give you any cover against the units inside. None of the walls around this building do. In fact, better to engage from behind this tank, behind this truck maybe. It can be a tough house to assault without proper counter like mortar or flamethrower. Engagement here is 1 combat engineers taking control of the cutoff once again. Fuel control very firmly in Soviet hands until this point where grenadiers making their way towards that fuel point to get it under their control. Grenadiers move to engage those conscripts at range. Flamethrower upgraded on those Pios. It's going to be a flamethrower fight. These guys moving through the deep snow may be in a bit of trouble though. No crits in the first burst. No crits in the second burst. No crits in the third burst. Wow, surprisingly non-random flamethrower battle. 4 bursts in a row with no crits. I don't think that was even a crit. That guy just died. Combat engineers looked like they were maybe pulling ahead. They have more models with less health. Kind of hard to say. Conscripts engaging over here. They're going to get that fuel point back under control away from Antilles again. MG42 is being fielded to assist. MG42 needs to set up fire on those conscripts. Gets a little close though. Probably could have set that up a little earlier. Doesn't matter though. Conscripts have already thrown their Molotov and will be forced to retreat. And Grenadiers are going to take control of the fuel point. Grenadiers here in the north are going to get those territories under control as well.
Enemies firing on us! The territory is out of contact.
And Flamethrower is trying to get those Grenadiers out of the house, but he hasn't had a whole lot of luck with his Flamethrower. Neither of them has. Finally, that's a good burst of damage right there. 2 Grenadiers taken out, and he was forced from the building. He's going to try and burn the building down now. It's going to take quite a while to do that, though. I don't know if he's going to be able to survive that long. Ooh, unless he does that. Nice merge from those conscripts there. Heal those combat engineers back up. And the house has caught fire. I think it will now eventually burn to the ground. Successful in burning that down. Flamethrower Pyos move up to counter though. And will force retreat from that combat engineer squad. Conscripts trying to move to a more effective range. Ooh. Oh, he just merged with those combat engineers and then immediately retreated both squads. Might have been a misclick, but I mean, combat engineers weren't going to do all that much here on the front line anyway, unless they were currently being upgraded with a flamethrower, which they might have been. This conscript squad also going to retreat. That building has burned to the ground. And Antilles will maintain control of the central munitions point, and he's also got 2 squads making their way across the north to take the victory point. Possibly also strategic points, and we're going to see him make a play for the Soviet cutoff. A heavy mortar has been fielded though, rolling its way to the front lines. A couple of conscripts on their way as well.
Territory secured.
We have liberated the objective.
They're attacking! They're killing us!
Nice heavy mortar hit right there. It takes out 2 Grenadier models. They'll be forced to retreat. Soviet should be able to restore. Control is cut off. Grenadiers in the house also need to retreat away from that flamethrower squad. Flamethrower inside the church.
We have liberated this sector. Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Heavy mortar bombarding this area. Doesn't really get any big hits. We're going to see a harassment attempt here in the north once again. Grenadiers working on the heavy mortar, actually bring it down to only 4 men, but conscripts move up to screen them away with the Molotov. They'll be forced to retreat. Grenadier squad here in the south is going to take control of the fuel point. Machine gun squad will be forced to retreat. Conscripts move up to fire on that anti-tank gun.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Bringing it low. Grenadiers are available to counter though. Heavy mortar moving up to a very aggressive location, possibly trying to get some lucky hits on various infantry. We're going to see lightning war chosen by Antilles, and he chosen to field some G43s on a lot of his Grenadiers, in fact, to try and help his ability to take out conscripts, possibly also help his ability to chase down and wipe that mortar if he can catch it out of position with a good flank. Mines going down on the roads here from these combat engineers.
Sector.
Conscripts moving to take control of that fuel point. And that Grenadier squad will be forced to retreat. MG42 hits the mine and gets wiped right there. G43s will prompt that flamethrower to retreat, however. Uzmanoy actually has 224 fuel in the bank. He hasn't purchased a single tech structure, not even tier 2. He's just going to try and use the PTRS for light anti-tank, I guess. Antilles, on the other hand, has built a tier 2 structure, getting 2 AT guns out. A little on the early side against guard motor coordination. Still has plenty of time before T-3485s hit the field, but he'll certainly have lots of anti-tank protection. Certainly a lot of manpower to spend on 2 AT guns when there are no vehicles on the field, though, especially against a heavy mortar and guards. I feel like he might struggle a little bit, but he has really good map control. He might consider teching to Battle Phase 3 and getting a Panzer IV or Ostwind to try and bridge the gap to his Tiger, but he did kind of not have that much fuel control early in the game. He's now losing control of the north fuel again, so you may just want to save all that fuel for a Tiger. I don't know. Got 140 in the bank. He's probably going to have more than 230 by the time he hits 11 command points, but probably not enough to justify the Panzer IV. I could understand trying to just go straight for the call-in in this situation, unless he can win some really big engagements. G43 is moving up into close range fire on these conscripts. They're going to be forced to retreat or just die. Okay, GG. Those conscripts are dead. Meanwhile, this engagement also going in these G43's favor unless that Molotov turns things around. These poor grenadiers are both freezing to death and burning to death simultaneously. Very poetic. And all territories in the south are going to fall into Antilles' hands here. Conscript squad was not being monitored, kind of falling behind a little bit there. And we're actually going to see a decision to go to tier 4. Going to spend quite a bit of fuel to purchase this structure, and probably a Katyusha is my guess. But a Katyusha can be a very nice thing to have in conjunction with T-3485s, and he has enough of a fuel advantage that he feels that, that's something he can afford.
We claimed it for the fatherland.
Capture complete.
Protect!
Conscripts engaging a flamethrower here. They're a little clumped, but Piles will disengage. Another flamethrower moving up to support. Antilles has 2 squads of G43s available for this engagement. He should win against 1 flamethrower squad. 2 squads up here in the north to prevent against a push by these infantry. No G43s, I'm sorry, no DP machine guns on this guard rifle squad, but their PTRSs probably be able to destroy that cover eventually. That's a lost engagement. And they're forced to run away. A couple guards making their way up from the south to engage these flamethrowers. G43s, they should win that engagement. If he waits too long to retreat, he might even let that squad get wiped. Retreats nice and early just to be safe. Should be able to get away fine. Heavy mortar and conscripts making their way up to assist in this engagement. Conscripts setting up in green cover here. Not all of them can fire though because of these trees. But the flamethrower gets a nice burst. Grenadiers will be forced to retreat. This engagement will continue. What happened to the guards? Guards retreated at 3 men remaining. I guess he just wanted to reinforce them. With an MG42 and Grenadiers moving up, it looks like those conscripts might be forced away here. I don't know. Those Grenadiers are falling pretty low. They don't have any cover. They're going to be forced to retreat. I'm not sure who's going to win this engagement. It'll depend on those conscripts getting suppressed in green cover, which may or may not happen. Conscripts engaging Grenadiers here, and they'll be flushed out of cover by a heavy mortar. Trying to reposition. There it is, Katyusha on the field. With this Katyusha available, he's probably going to be able to bleed his opponent's manpower hard, especially if he can get vision of priority targets like that. Antilles is trying to minimize the impact of all these engagements that are going so poorly for him by activating relief infantry. Good time to activate it with that Katyusha firing on his grenadier formations there. That squad is forced to retreat. This squad slightly outside the barrage radius. Looks like it's kind of okay. He's going to stick around even though he's taking losses. try and get that relief infantry on the field. One squad of Ostrupen hits the field now, and for every 4 losses, you get a squad of Ostrupen, and you can get up to 3 squads of Ostrupen, so that's pretty powerful. And it's only 90 munitions to activate, so it's like a zillion times better than rapid conscription, actually. Get a lot of value out of that. And that's because Ostrupen kind of used to be like really bad. They're a lot better now, so this ability is actually really good value for those 90 munitions. 2 squads of Ostrupen on the field for the low price of some manpower reinforcement and
We are losing a sector.
90 munitions to activate the ability. Now have a pretty healthy force with which to recruit team weapons, take territory. That's a good thing to have. I mean, look how many infantry squads he has now.
Pioneers reporting objective capture. The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Grenadiers taking control of this fuel. Bio's gonna take control of various territory over there. Mines getting planted here on the strategic point. And a couple squads are moving up into cover to try to engage. Guard, this is no, not a fresh squad. Reinforced squad of guards here, moving to engage. Lots of G43s on all these grenadiers. Relief infantry just ran out, so he couldn't get the 3rd squad of Ostrupen, but he still got 2, which is pretty good. Pretty good return on that munitions investment. Kind of like in COH1 almost, where you would try to engage next to a medic bunker and turn your Volksgrenadiers into grenadiers. Only in this case you're turning your grenadiers into Ostrupen, so your infantry are kind of getting worse rather than better, and more numerous rather than less numerous. It's kind of a funny turnaround from COH1. Similar feel to it though. Katyusha is bombarding the house, probably gonna destroy it. There it goes. Heavy mortar is bombarding in this area.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Conscripts will be forced to engage G43 grenadiers here again. They're very wounded.
Tiger tanks are now available.
Doesn't look like they can win that engagement without a really nice Molotov, but nothing's being tossed. G43s will take that. Entire map remains in Antilles' hands, and he has access to the Tiger tank now. He will need to float up a little bit more manpower. He just activated relief infantry again,
Forces are securing our territory.
which seems like a strange thing to do because he needs to start floating manpower for Tiger tanks and not be bleeding too much manpower. And infantry engagements for his Tigers is going to take a long time to hit the field. It's a nice thing to have active though. Squad barely gets away. G43's doing what they can here. Ostrupen will be forced to retreat. These 2 anti-tank guns haven't even fired a shot, I don't think. He got those like really early. Having 1 around is nice just in case your opponent goes tier 3.
Enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
But 2 I think was an overinvestment.
Stuka AT support
Despite that though, he's taking control of the entire map. If he had gone tier 3 instead of holding out for a Tiger, which I kind of suggested before, I don't know, maybe be in a good position. He would have had a Panzer IV to take out that Katyusha. His opponent doesn't really have that much anti-tank other than guards. But the Katyusha has only fired twice and it only has 1 kill, so hasn't had that dramatic of an impact on the game anyway. Katyusha firing once again on the machine gun, I think. Looks like it might wipe it. Maybe, maybe not. There it goes. Machine gun gets wiped by the Katyusha barrage, bringing it up to 5 kills. Hasn't had that much of an impact though. Maxim in the building is taking flamethrower fire. These 2 squads making their way forward to try and do what they can.
are securing our territory. We are losing a sector. The enemy has driven a wedge in our line.
Ostruben falling low to flamethrower fire right there. Not sure they were being monitored. Late retreat. Squad gets wiped. This was a lucky flame crit, but here in the north, the flamethrower squad was also not being monitored. Drops a flamethrower for those grenadiers to maybe recover. I'm not sure if G43 squad can pick up a flamethrower or not. Man, Antilles has so much infantry. He has so much infantry. There's so much for the Soviet player to have to chew through. He really needs to get those T-34s out, but he's kind of struggling for manpower and fuel. He's kind of lost his map control advantage. He was in the lead, spent a ton of resources, like a ton of resources to get this Katyusha, and it's had barely any impact. He's not getting enough of a return on that investment to make it worthwhile, and he's getting overrun just by G43s and Ostruben meat shields. Heavy mortar trying to bombard this, soften it up. It's up to Bet 1, has 9 kills, it's doing okay, nothing that dramatic. Ooh, that could be a big Katyusha barrage. Oh, it was too far forward, aimed it short. If he had placed it like right there, that could have been huge. Doesn't even finish the salvo because he's forced to reposition away from G43's flanking it there in the north. Nice play. And that Grenadier squad forced that Katyusha out of its barrage. We will see harassment here in the south.
Ready as we'll ever be. We have taken it. The enemy is taking our territory. Grenadier down! Reinforcements complete. We are losing a sector. Blizzard conditions are now in effect. The territory is out of
And
contact.
conscript sandbags are going up right there. Full squad of infantry just got wiped somewhere. Not even sure what happened. There's so many infantry engagements. This looks like a nightmare to manage for both players, honestly. Mortar bombarding this general area.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Molotov tossed into the church, I think, or maybe the building's just on fire. The building's just on fire. Flamethrower, bring it dangerously low. Squad needs to get out of there. Pyos freezing to death. Most of the fires on the map appear to be pretty much gone. Guard rifles trying to contend for infantry up, or contend for territory up there. Really just chaos. Just chaos all over this battlefield. With so many Ostruben and Grenadier squads running around, it's proving extremely difficult for the Soviet player to manage, but at the same time, indirect fire just keeps pounding away, damaging squads. Inflicting manpower bleed. Antilles has had the CPs for a Tiger and the fuel for a Tiger for like a zillion years, and he just can't get the manpower together because he keeps on reinforcing his Ostruben and Grenadiers. These anti-tank guns are making a really weirdly aggressive maneuver. I think he wants to try and move up to snipe the Katyusha under cover of the blizzard. I'm pretty sure the Soviet player sees this coming, though. Katyusha's firing on those anti-tank guns now. This could be kind of a bad play by Antilles here. Oh, jeez. Not good. Not good. Both AT guns decrewed, Grenadiers supporting, forced to retreat, and now conscripts are available to possibly steal both of these. He spent all that manpower on these AT guns and they've never fired a shot, and now he just delivered them to his opponent on a silver platter. Well, that's bad news, especially since his Tiger just rolled on the field and his opponent didn't even have any anti-tank. If I were him, I would have just let that conscript squad get wiped, taking both of those AT guns. The Tiger's gonna be on the field soon. It'd be nice to have 2 packs, but doesn't want to lose. This is vet 3 conscripts, I guess. Tiger firing at these guards. They're gonna be forced to retreat under MG42 fire, falling quite low. Ooh, that was a nice heavy mortar hit. Wipes the MG42. Conscripts available here to screen against the G43s. They'll only last for so long. 2 squads though. 2 squads. Flamethrower Pyos moving up. That's a lot of grenadiers. A lot of grenadiers. He doesn't have enough of an infantry screen to protect his AT guns. They're both gonna get wiped here. Heavy mortar gets some big hits during that engagement, although it might get wiped. Can't tell. Yeah, there it goes. Flamethrower Pyos is going to force a retreat from that conscript squad. The Soviet player just didn't have enough infantry on the field. He should have just brought those AT guns all the way back to his base where he could properly reinforce, heal, protect. He had a huge opening, a huge opportunity to steal both of those, and he let it slip through his fingers. Katyusha barrage on those grenadiers. Oh, so close to wiping that. Forces the retreat though. And there's the T-34-85s. At the very least, nobody owns those AT guns, so they can't fire the T-34s either. Big blocking maneuver coming in. I don't know what's going to happen. Stu close air support trying to support in this engagement. Wow, gets a really nice spread of damage on both of those tanks. Now I'm not sure how this engagement's going to go. The T-34s are maneuvering all wrong here. One rear armor hit. Panzerfaust about to connect with that one. This one no longer has line of sight. What is he doing? Oh, Tiger misses its shot. This T-34 needs to re-engage. I can't believe he's going to disengage with that. Turret rotation goes all wrong on that T-34. It's going to die. He does get his tank outside the strike zone of the close air support. So those conscripts are probably going to get targeted next. Katyusha is available to fire soon. Might be able to utilize a concentrated barrage to wipe Antilles Pyos. Guards move up to chase off those Ostrupen. They should win this easily enough. There are DP machine guns and PTRSs. Ostrupen stand no chance, really. Conscripts recover a DP and move up to engage some G43 Grenadiers. Scary looking blob right there. That's Katyusha bait for sure. Can't quite fire yet though. Now they'll spread out. I'm gonna barrage this area, but I don't know. They're pretty spread out. Not sure how that's gonna fall. Pretty decent damage. Softens it up, forces a retreat from all 3 squads, wins the engagement. Grenadiers, or conscripts have taken a lot of damage too though, already, and they're going to be forced to retreat. Soviet player really struggling to find a way to get out of his base and get some territory back. With one of his T-34s dead, that Tiger poses a very, very serious threat. If he doesn't make a play against that soon, he's going to be forced to engage Tiger with 1 T-34. Plus, his resources reserves have been completely exhausted. Antilles still has 330 fuel in the bank. He could have easily teched up at this point if he wanted to. He's probably just going to keep making Tigers, but it's definitely an option to round out his army with,
The enemy has destroyed an anti-tank gun.
I don't know, a broom bear. I don't even know what I would suggest. Tiger's just basically better than anything that he has in his other tiers. But when you have this much resources in the bank and this much infantry still on the field,
Ju-87 ready for panzer busting.
a Panther actually is kind of nice against guard motor coordination because it's so much more pop cap efficient against T-34s. The Tiger's 24 pop cap, Panther's only 16, so that is one advantage. Dodge tier 4, if you consider that a meaningful advantage. If you're floating 350 fuel, I mean, it can be nice to have a Panther supporting your Tiger, and you can still support a huge army of Grenadiers and Ostrupen.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Guards taking control of this victory point right here. DP machine guns and PTRSs snipe one of those models.
We've been promoted, but does that include a pay raise? Territory increase.
They're going to be forced to retreat, but with relief infantry active, we will be able to get some free Ghost trooping out of this engagement regardless. Katyusha bombarding. Ooh, pretty good spread. Almost wipes that Grenadier squad. Gets away with a sliver of health left.
We're throwing fire.
PTRS plinking off that Tiger. It is brought to about half health. It's going to pull away, taking a lot of damage from that stolen AT gun. Stops in the arc of fire, but the AT gun's going to reposition away from screening Grenadiers. T-34 looks like it wants to make something happen here. It's got full health. Antilles has no anti-tank guns at all.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Oh, nasty friendly fire right there. That's kind of the danger of standing in green cover. Standing in green cover with a tank behind you. I've seen that happen so many times, especially with the Stug E. It seems to happen a lot. Any tank though, Sherman, whatever. If you stand in green cover with a tank behind you, there's a pretty good chance your tank is gonna blast your own infantry. Ouch. Katyusha barrage at very short range, has a pretty tight spread, but it does not quite wipe either of those squads. They're going to get clear. T-34 trying to take long shots at the Tiger, most of them bouncing, not really having much of a dramatic effect. We're going to see some harassment happening here in the north, harassment happening in the south. Looks like it's going to go in these Grenadiers' favor down here unless they neglect to dodge this Molotov, which they have, but no crits. They might win this engagement even just standing in the fire. Okay, there it goes. And they'll retreat. Conscripts can continue their harassment of the south. DP equipped conscripts with T-34 support appear to be winning against this force of Ostrupen in the middle. And they're going to be forced to retreat.
Pack gun is ready for orders.
Tiger moves up to engage. The T-34 right there. It's got a pretty decent amount of health. There's Stuka close air support. Pass is completely off target though. Only very minor damage inflicted on that T-34. Katyusha, however, definitely needs to reposition to safety. AT grenade will damage the Tiger's engine. Katyusha, a little lazy on the Katyusha micro right there. Couldn't quite get it clear. And it goes down. T-34, however, has repositioned to safety. The anti-tank gun cannot get further shots off on the Tiger behind this shed. Conscripts threaten getting wiped. Flamethrower piles. Ooh, a Stuka close air support annihilates that AT gun. Nothing remains but corpses and twisted metal. Grenade tossed at those Ostrupen. No dodge, but it doesn't actually do that much damage. PTRS snipes one model before retreating just to be rude. And a couple T-34 is going to receive repairs here in the back. Still not even close to a second set of T-34s, largely in part because of the Katyusha purchase, and now that investment is dead. I'd say he got pretty decent return out of that Katyusha. He got some pretty good barrages, but he needed to keep that alive for like the whole game. He needed to have more of an impact. Now he's pretty much just behind. He's lost a T-34. He's lost a Katyusha. A lot of fuel down the drain now. His infantry forces still look pretty healthy, but he just can't get any map control back. Grenade getting tossed. That could be good. Gets dodged. PTRS snipes a Grenadier, though. Without DPs, I honestly don't even know who will win this. Looks like the guards are going to win. PTRS gets another lucky shot. Yeah, guards have definitely won that engagement.
our sector.
High explosive barrage. Ooh, nice. Nice shot from the T-34 following up. Wipes another squad. Good use of the high explosive barrage right there as kind of a faux Katyusha replacement.
Stuka
Very
AT
expensive,
support
less
ready to
effective.
take out enemy armor.
Indirect fire.
We are losing a sector.
Don't let them flank us!
We have secured the sector.
What's the flaming machine gun?
Maxim firing on an AT gun right there. Tiger moves up to engage these infantry. It's up to vet 1 now and has 22 kills. Wow. Relief infantry gets activated again to shore up losses. The Antilles may suffer. But it appears to be winning on all fronts. Ostrupen will probably win an engagement against those DP conscripts. I think. I don't know. Nah, there they go. They're gonna retreat. Guard squad here in the south, continuing to try and harass territory, but Antilles still has them pretty much completely cut off. He maintains the fuel control there in the north. He's had absolute economic dominance this game, which is why he now has 600 fuel in the bank. Now I kind of feel like a Panther would be a good idea, and it'd be nice to have a Panther since he doesn't have the pop cap to support a second Tiger. Not with this much infantry forces. He's got an anti-tank gun, machine gun, and just a ton of infantry.
Caution! Blizzard!
And Soviet player Uzmanoy doesn't feel that he can wait for another set of T-34. He's probably right. He's had 10 fuel coming in for several minutes. He's just going to drop the rest of his fuel on an Su-85 and try to make something happen with that. Which I feel, I mean, he really has no choice but to do that. I don't know how effective that's going to be, though. Against this sheer quantity of Panzerfaust potential, AT gun, Vet2 Tiger, it's going to be extremely difficult to break this containment.
We finished it.
The Russians are coming!
Winter comes the same time every year, and still you manage to lose men.
G43 is engaging conscripts here outside the base. T-34-85 falling dangerously low.
At our disposal. We have lost a pack gun.
Tiger taking shots from the Su-85 and a freshly produced field gun, I believe. Yes, that is not an anti-tank pack, that's a field gun. Tiger getting a little stuck on the terrain, slowly backing to safety through the blizzard. Almost got taken out. I think that Su-85 shot almost threatened to destroy it there. So, nice attempt by the Soviet player, but he took a lot of infantry bleed during that engagement. He's going to have to pull back, reinforce, heal for a long time. His current manpower income's a little low. Bleeding quite a lot, and he needs to produce combat engineers to repair his tanks as well, and he just can't seem to get any territory under his control. Antilles has Ostrupen guarding this north approach. They'll be able to hold against maybe like lone conscript squad harassment. Not much else.
Incoming fire!
Tiger had to pull back for some repairs. We're going to have a half-track here, late game half-track for some forward reinforcement, try and maintain an aggressive containment against his opponent.
You have soldiers freezing. Is that a reflection of your command capabilities?
The 3 guards should be able to win against those Ostrupen easily enough. High explosive barrage destroys a fire. Doesn't really impact any infantry here. A little bit off target. Guards are winning against these Ostrupen easily enough, though. They'll be forced to retreat. Even in green cover, those guards are doing quite well against
Our opponents are
There's
seizing
guards.
the sector. We have hammered the enemy down to 50 points.
big hit on those conscripts. Uzmanoy continues to fail to make any progress. There it is. GG has been exchanged. Uzmanoy just could not break free of his containment. I think his first really critical mistake was letting that Tiger get away. He disengaged with his T-34s, really kind of messed up his tank maneuvers. He also had a huge opportunity to steal 2 AT guns from his opponent that he did sort of capitalize on, but he didn't get them to safety and properly defend them and screen them against his opponent's next counterattack. So I think the Soviet player had a several big windows of opportunity to win this game, but unfortunately could not make that happen. Antilles made really interesting use of his commander. We saw the Tiger hit the field, lots of Stuka close air support, and of course lots of relief infantry. So all three of these abilities proved to be quite useful for Antilles this game. Help reduce the impact of his manpower bleed by getting those Ostrupen on the field, and of course he got a lot of G43s as well, so we saw all features except for tactical movement utilized. And that's a pretty textbook usage of Lightning War, I would say, which is makes this game a good example of why that commander is so popular. So good game, and Axis wins.